That's it. No more testing.
It's one thing if you can trust paying your name and have it not tied to you.
She was like, there's a lot of
How are you?
So, you want to have one of these tables and like the shoes off? That's right. And then I was listening. Good. Enjoy it. He's a child of nature.
It's fun being a grandparent.
There's not a lot, but like real up close. Everywhere. Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, okay. It should be.
The high book was. Oh, they never, the high book.
Don't get that out.
Like that third show, it looked like third people that I see the logo was on that.
I don't care.
And number one. Number two, which is the most sought after car.
What is it, taking notes of probably like, it's not gonna come out with like.
Kitty punch.
No. It punched me.
Kitty, would you like to join us over here?
I don't care. It'll be fun.
You ready?
I'm good.
You ready?
Yeah. Is it mainly going to be over yonder? Okay.
That's why she has a dog. That's why she has a dog. Oh. The dog goes and gets the dog.
Got it. All right, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for being here today. My name is Krystal Kennel, and I'm chair of the theater department at SUNY Oswego. And so today we have assembled an amazing group of people to come and learn a little bit about the history of Dramafest, and someone who was very important in terms of the, I guess, the longevity and cultivating Dramafest, and his name is Mark Cole. And so we're going to have some panelists talk about their experience here, and to my camera operator, are you ready to record?
We're already recording.
So just so you know, so what's kind of special about this occasion right now is obviously we have some Dramafest participants. We're very happy to have you here, but then we have some alumni, some former colleagues of Mark, friends of Mark's, but also some of his family here, and so this is actually a group of people that's all coming together to grow, connect, and thrive. And then, of course, we have our lovely archivists here. So we're going to go, I'm going to ask some questions, and then we will have time at the end to look at some of the archival history of the department and Dramafest. All right, are we ready? Yes. Okay, excellent. All right, can I have the panelists? Can you please share a personal story about a memorable Dramafest experience? So introduce yourself. All right, sorry. Introduce yourself, your connection to the SUNY Oswego Theatre Department, and your years of Dramafest participation, and a fun, memorable Dramafest story.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Steve Masco, and I'm an alumni of the theatre department here at SUNY Oswego. I was a student in the department from 2002 to 2006, and so Dramafest participant as a student volunteer for those years. And now I am currently a professor here and participating in Dramafest that way. So it's fun to be back and help facilitate this experience for our current participants. It's wonderful to be back. Reflecting on Dramafest is a really, really important and sort of like I don't know, foundational experience for me, because I remember sort of from the student perspective as a student volunteer attending SUNY Oswego and helping to facilitate this day where high schoolers come and share their work with us. I think that is among sort of like the give back in terms of the faculty and staff, in terms of the workshops. It's wonderful to sort of share the learning that way. But the reciprocation of them sharing their work with us was something that I felt as a student would have been incredibly powerful to me as a student, because, you know, as someone who was part of a high school theater experience, I just sort of wished that there would have been a university near my high school that I could have attended to show the work that we were all so proud of when we were in high school. And so I think it sort of like helps sort of set a goal, right, for the high schools that participate to say, we're gonna work on this section of this play, and we're proud of it, we wanna show it, not just to our other high school kids, but we wanna show it on that university stage. We want to show it and get feedback from a college professor. Like, to me, that's just one of the thrilling things that I remember really latching on to as a student volunteer, and just being very thankful to the faculty and staff that we sort of made that experience happen for the high schoolers, because I think it's a really magical sharing.
Great. Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. I'm Ariel Marcus Hollenbach-Sheever. I'm a producing artistic director of an educational theater company on Staten Island called Illuminart Productions, and I'm so happy to be asked back. Thank you so much. I'm alumni of Oswego. I was there from 2007 to 2011. When I looked at all these questions and to reflect on Dramafest, it feels like a blur. I was like, wow, I don't remember much, but I remember the feelings, and I remember the feelings of just the excitement and the energy from the students, from the faculty, and all of us just working together. It felt like we really were producing something that was larger than ourselves. And now that I reflect back on it at whatever age I am at this moment, doesn't matter, I'm really grateful for Dramafest, and I'm really grateful to see how far back it goes and how far forward it will continue. So glad to be here today. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm Kitty Macy. I've been here since the dinosaurs roamed Oswego. Let's put it that way. I came in the fall of 1977 here. And then I left in 2022, so you can do the math yourself. Basically, when I first got here, Dramafest was done by a man named Jack Kingston. Jack was very much the type. He was very much like a senior Mark Cole. Okay, he really had. This is how we're going to do it. This is what this is going to be. This is how it's going to happen. And Mark wasn't there when I first got there, because he came 2 or 3 years later, whenever he was hired, on to taking the place of Jack Kingston, and Ron Medici also came into that place, because also another faculty person also left, went someplace else. So that's the initial part that we went, and as soon as Jack retired, quit, Mark suddenly stepped in. It became the Mark Cole show. And the first of that, it was interesting to see how we went, what things were happening, and how Mark got everything accomplished. He did so many different things. Kelly worked with him a lot too, in terms of putting out the notes of what goes out for the high school teachers, and what goes out, what the kids are going to see, what are we going to do, what are the things we're going to do. And so, yeah, it was interesting. It was a very interesting time, and pulling your hair out when you trying to put all these little trinket thingies together, because Mark wanted to give them swag. So
Swag before
The tradition continues.
yeah, before the word was swag, right? Give them some things. They gotta have some things, And we'll sell drinks out in the bar thing, which is what he did, which helped Alpha Psi Omega did that, and that was what Alpha Psi did in order to help bring more funding back into for Dramafest itself. So that's really what it went to. Yeah, your turn.
It's really hard to follow everyone else. It's fine. Hi, I'm Suzanne Mackenzie Roy. I am an Oswego alum. I graduated in 2008, so I was here as a student from 2004 to 2008, which makes me not quite as old as the dinosaurs, but old enough that somebody said, I was 4 when you graduated when I came in today. Oh, great, yeah, felt good. I came back as a instructor in 2013 to 2015, and now I am the tour operations manager for Crossroads Live North America. I oversee our tour operations, oddly enough, for all of our tours as they go across the country. And I think Dramafest, oddly enough, my favorite Dramafest memory, kind of leads into that touring world from our changeover, which isn't Mark Cole specific. But as I was thinking about like my favorite memory, it was doing Little Shop of Horrors and having to put the wall back up on the shop because it was too big to do everything in front of it. So we had to take it down, and then we had to put it back up during dinner, and that was an hour. You have an hour to get the shows off the stage and put the show back up for that night. And I think that has really informed my career since then in touring theater, and just the time frame in which you have to do the things and get them done and do the show. That is not the memory that I wrote down, oddly enough, because that was not Mark Cole specific. So my favorite memory was actually my first Dramafest when I auditioned for Measure and did terribly in my audition and questioned whether or not I was meant to be in the theater department at all. And Mark was so gracious to me and let me audition 4 times. I did not want to be an actor at all, period. And I have moved into technical theater and management, and that was not Mark Cole's doing, but he was gracious enough to give me the space to figure that out on my own.
Excellent, I love that.
I'm Stephen McSweeney. I'm an alumni from the theater department. I graduated for the first time in December of 2000, so I was there from '96 to December of 2000, and then when I was going here for my master's for education, I still was involved in the theater department up until May of 2003. I graduated with my education degree and teaching high school. And one of my memories is actually when I got to take some of my high school students up here for the first time. It was just such a great experience because I remember how frantic those days were, like as a student, like participating in Dramafest, and then as an advisor, kind of being able to sit back and kind of watch it all unfold was something different. But I remember on the bus coming back with my students, just all of them gushing about all of the experiences that they had, the seminars that they had, and what I found interesting was they performed Medea from Christopher Durang. And when they got off the stage, Mark was there, and he was kind of like gushing about all of their performances and stuff like that. And for them, that was one of the things that stuck with them. They all had, like, somehow, without even realizing it, they all had some memory that kind of, like, interconnected with them. So.
And we have one more panelist over here.
So everyone I'm looking over, and everything always had to be black. Oh, we must wear black. What is it with you people in this black? There's so many other colors in the world. So clearly I'm not wearing black.
You are your pants.
You are too.
Yeah.
So in Dramafest capacity, Mark worked so hard. There's so many pieces that are, he couldn't wait to find just the right respondent to the scene. So what is this respondent thing? And he, once the day came, he just enjoyed seeing the respondent. There also was a time when we had to have entertainment after the show. How do we have to entertain these children? They're all over the place. They're having a fabulous day. But he reveled in the moment. And I also am remiss because I meant to pick and bring her home. He would always have a little vase of flowers. He was very particular about having some daisies and hyacinth, and that was a big welcome. It was a fun being not in the theater. It's an opportunity for, and I'll steal John's phrase, to to be with your people. And when you are in theater, you are sometimes your own little group in the midst of a high school. And to be able to come for the day and be filled with a whole building of people that just celebrate the joy that you feel, you find your people. And that's what's most exciting, because it's a lot of this, but when they're here, you cherish the moments that they have finding kinship in the theater, and appreciate what they're putting on stage, because not everyone that goes is always happy or want to be there, but when you look out into the audience, you see people that just love what you're doing. And the evening show, whatever show it is, if you can ever sneak in to see the Dramafest show, it's always the most fun, because the audience is out of their pants, just excited. Just see it, the curtain goes up and you would say, it's also fun when the buses. Bye-bye now.
Excellent, thank you all. Okay, so, and we don't necessarily have to go through everyone, so we have some time to go through our lovely archives, but does someone have a good sense of like, why do you think Mark really took hold of Dramafest, and why was it so important to him?
Can I pull a quote?
Yes, of course.
From 2004.
Yes.
Okay,
Please.
great. This comes from the Dramafest page on the Oswego Theatre website. It's written by Mark. Language, image, and action converge and transform the stage space when a play offers the audience a clarification of life. Life can be, as George Bernard Shaw puts it, an unintelligible chaos of happenings. This transformation is at the heart of what we do in the theater department. Witness life transformed through the alchemy of theater on the stages of Tyler Hall. Yeah.
The Blurs.
The Blurs.
And I would work very diligently all year on a show's blur. And every show is going to be poignant. And every show is going to be a coming of age story. I was like, this again. And, yes, we would. Mark, it's an alchemy of life.
The alchemy of life. Life is transformed through theater.
I actually also had a quote that kind of dovetails into that, because I was trying to compile a bunch of thoughts, like, okay, going back to the archives and trying to like sum all my, like you were saying, like it's so frantic, it's more of an impression really than a memory. And I remember seeing this clip of Sir Ian McKellen reading a quote from Vonnegut that said, practice any art, music, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, painting, sculpting, poetry, fiction, essays, reportage, no matter how well or badly, not to get money and fame, but to experience becoming, to find out what's inside you and to make your soul grow. And I think that kind of goes along with what the quote that you read was. Because I think that's partly why it's important for Mark, is this idea of getting people to experience life in a very different way. And enjoying that art by creating something and experiencing it for all it's worth. And I think that is kind of partly why I think he was so drawn to Dramafest, and especially targeting it towards the high school students, because it's such a vulnerable age, to get them to latch onto that, and hopefully, even if they don't do professionally, to at least remember that experience and to take that with them into the future.
I mean, I think we would all agree that at every instance, when Mark would encounter the work of the high school students, he really believed it was magical, like as a feat. Like, it's so difficult to kind of like carve out space and work for things, and students have a million other things that they have to worry about and concerns that they have, but for like one instance, they're all coming together to sort of tell this story. And Mark's sort of like constant acknowledgement of their work and sort of like acknowledgement that what they were doing was important and poignant, right? To sort of borrow the word. I mean, that was an acknowledgement to not just like what they were doing on their stage, but I think a lot of the students experience it as an acknowledgement of something deeper that they have to offer their peers, or something that they offer a community that's bigger than themselves. And I think, he sort of made them feel seen and sort of them putting that work together. And I think that's why the response to their work was such a big part of this day for him, because he understood sort of what that really offers a student. And it's not just like, well, I didn't know if I bought that cross from the stage to that part of the stage. It was more of just like, it was more like, wow, you told a story and I felt the story you were telling.
And then Kitty and Kelly, I'm going to go a little off script, I'm sorry. But I was wondering, in terms of you, in terms of the history of it, do you think Dramafest would have continued without Mark's, and what was it? What did he do that really helped grow the longevity and the?
You have to start early because in many, where I'll say my contribution was helping get all of the legs together so that when the day came, the pieces were in place, because it's hard to get you to commit to your stuff, and you have to decide what workshop you're going to order, and I got to make sure that how many people are coming from each school, because during the course of the year, the true theater people are really involved in 3 other productions that we have, because the production is still happening for the spring show. It's the legwork, and he was very good about making sure that the legwork was done so that when the day came, the people that truly were celebrating it were ready to celebrate. And the pieces were there.
Mark had some very good teachers before that. I mean, we had Jack Kingston and we had a few other, what was her name? Yeah, Rosemary, no, it's not Rose, the one who, I can't remember her name. A couple other teachers that were also part and parcel who he had to deal with. And their pictures are down in the bowels of fire. But basically, he had some good foundations to deal with in terms of the people that, like Kathleen Pendergast and there's all of, and Rosemary. Rosemary, again, was a good person to give him some essence. But he really got it from people like Jack. And that, I thought, was what gave him the foothold that he had. And then continuing it on from there. I mean, that's what I remember of Mark. Of course, Mark also had a hell of a funny streak about him too. So that was
What's your favorite highlight of the streak that you can share?
Gotta do it, Kitty.
Okay, the funny streak was he came up to me and sidled up to me on these business. I have to tell you. I said, okay, he said, I know we hired John Vermillion to do the pictures, but I want you to do them. I said, what? Because I was taking pictures already for one show with Bluebeard, it was.
Okay.
And so we were taking pictures, and he said, you just capture them. So I'm going, oh, Mark, come on. He said, no, I like what you do. So we did. We put this all together, and he looked at it and he said, yes, this is what I was looking for. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's Mark. And I also, well, we won't go there. It was funny because Mark would also call my house because we were working on the Dramafest and stuff, and he would say, my husband says, I know. Then my husband said, who's calling? He says, just tell him it's his second wife, it's his second husband. I said, okay, so that's how it came about that Mark was my second husband, because we had to keep things going and moving, and that's stuff. Yep.
And I do want to, and I should have said this in my intro, but obviously Mark had retired by the time I came here. This was only my 3rd year at SUNY Oswego, and I'm forever grateful for Kitty to introduce me to Mark, and because Kitty helped me, I'm like, Kitty, what does all this mean? And so Kitty helped me understand how some of the history of the theater department, and she was like, we had about one meeting, and then she was like, we gotta get Mark in here, and so it was wonderful to have the handful of lunches that we shared.
Yep.
Which was good. So thank you for that. Okay. All right, we do want to give some time for our archives, but Steve, I was wondering if you could talk. So you had the student exam and student experience, and then as being a SUNY Oswego student, and now you're a faculty member. So how has Dramafest changed your time here?
It's interesting. I mean, I think one of the things that we're all sort of thinking about as we're planning the day is what the high school student experience is going to be, and we really try to let that guide us. And I suppose, you know, when I was a student here, a college student here, I feel like I was like, just tell me what I need to do, you know, and I would be great to do it, whether that's, you know, working the greeting table or carting a group around, or helping. I distinctly remember being deck crew, which is just maybe the most insane thing a student volunteer can do that day. But, you know, I mean, I think, of course, you know, I have a view of there being much more sort of legwork and planning, and how do we actually make this happen, right? And so that feels, you know, bigger, of course. But again, you know, sort of like reiterate what I said before, is like, you know, even as a student volunteer, I felt, oh my gosh, this is like a day kind of giving for us, right? Like, and I think students understand, because they're still so close to the high school experience, that they kind of understand that this is a big day for you all, you know, and they are invested in the goal of making it special. And for me, today, it's just an amazing day where I am now working with students in a way that, like, we all coalesce around this goal of, like, offering this, like, experience for them. And so it feels like a perfect kind of way for us to achieve the community building that we so desperately, you know, really need to be able to do our best work, whether it's production or whether it's work that's happening in the classes or interdisciplinary. And I think when we talk about, you know, the legacy, you know, bringing up Catherine Pendergast or Rosemary, and how sort of it's very easy to kind of chart what was important to those professors, to what was important to Mark and Katie, to like what is important to us. And Dramafest sort of feels like that string that is kind of tied to what I think the overall legacy of our department is, which is really about community building, about giving back in terms of teaching and education. And nothing, I think, speaks more to that to me than Mark acting as a wonderful, gracious host for all of those years as Dramafest, but also the fact that even after he retired, he would go on and direct plays at the local high schools, and would offer to still be an actor in all of the various, it's like Oswego Opera, and he would do student films after he retired. Like, I mean, it's just sort of like that. Yeah, I mean, I think that sense of service and that sense of service through teaching is really ingrained in the DNA of this department, and I think Dramafest, I really believe, is sort of the biggest signal.
Wonderful. Does anyone have a funny anecdote you want to share about Mark, a personal favorite memory, before we break out the archives?
This was just a small little one that I was thinking about. I've had multiple different kind of careers, and I just remember being in Mark's office, which is now your office, right? It's your office. It's the the chair. Never mind. I haven't Tyler in a while, but I remember with these. I was looking for a monologue. I was really having a hard time, and he really took the time and energy to sit down with me, and very simply be like, Ariel, it needs to say something. Your monologue needs to do something. And that little piece of like information has just like stuck with me whenever I'm looking for something, or whenever I'm helping my students out to like find something. I'm always like, what would Mark say? This needs to do something. Yeah, I know that was such a small thing, but it has stuck with me.
I had a similar experience where, like, when I was auditioning for the Renaissance Festival, Mark graciously kind of helped me pick out a monologue as well as like work with me one-on-one. And it was towards the end of my time in the program, but still, like, having that one-on-one with him of dissecting the monologue and really looking at what exactly it said and the different layers that were kind of going on there, it was such a different experience than what I've had, before. because a lot of what I worked with on was in the Commedia for the Renaissance Magical Banquets, which was just farcical and fun, and
Those are fun.
you know, I actually still have one of them that I use in my theater classes. So every time I pull it out, and it's like little tiny piccolo and, you know, the thumb puppet one.
Yes.
Yeah. The kids are like, what is this? But it still has Bart's name on it, and like halfway through, they are just dying. Just the joy just really kind of comes up. It's one of my favorite parts of teaching the theater classes is doing that piece.
Cool. Very cool. I'm so sorry, can I have one other
Of
thing?
course, of
So
course.
my husband also went to Oswego. He's a playwright, and one of the plays that he did was a one-person play, and Mark was in it. And something that always stuck with me, this was a nonverbal play, and Mark was just so good with his body and like telling a story through that, that Kevin really did change the play to kind of like resemble Mark. So now whenever he produces it, which we're going to be producing it again this summer, we have, of course, Mark in mind when we are producing this play. So, yeah.
Great. So I'm going to turn it over to our lovely archivist professionals here, and so we have some tables. So I think we're going to put a box at each table, maybe.
Yep.
And so if you want to tell us what we can do and what we shouldn't do.
Absolutely, right. So there are some rules. So any of your personal belongings, you'll just want to put them like in the corner, on your chair, somewhere that's not the table. Pencils are fine, photos are fine. So like any drinks or pens are banned. But yeah, feel free to take photos of anything that you think are interesting. Nothing here is too fragile, so like normally I say if like you feel uncomfortable leaping through something yourself, we can help you. This is Austin, by the way, I'm Marissa. But I think everything here should be good for you to dive in and look. And any of the boxes that have folders, it's like one folder at a time. And then when you're flipping through, just try to keep the order. But that's pretty much it.
Okay, wonderful. And so, so we'll pass out these boxes per table, and please feel free to continue this wonderful conversation about Mark and his contributions to the department and to your life. I think it'd be wonderful for everyone to hear, and so you know, feel free to mingle around, get to know someone when you want to break. Kelly, can you tell us about this amazing
Just gonna
concoction
say,
out
because
here?
it's banned very kindly from inside near the archives, every fall and every spring, Clark would bring his ginger ale sherbet punch as a tribute. So perhaps on the way out, since we can't bring it in, we can all have a toast to Mark with
Absolutely, that sounds wonderful.
his favorite punch.
Oh, no. I'm well, thank you. I went upstairs first, that's why I was late.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, so I put it on the side. Are they? Were you around the arts man? I used to do that.
Yeah, I know.
I gave myself a big
Which one?
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the.
The editor might join us. You're just pulling things out and taking a look. Yes. Where are you from? We're just up that way. Oh, yeah. 7 miles. Yep. Oh, nice. We had to read
It's like stitching while I was not there.
No,
I think so too. So you're,
Yeah.
And that takes your
Oh, I think you're surprised, right?
Oh, yeah. Did you ever go to this thing, they do this summer thing, the Carnation Lily really?
So what was your favorite show that you
His father, yeah.
I mean,
It was great. But now we got red bells, like my favorite
You know, like, conquered that one, you know, like, so every episode. That was great, but yeah. Yeah, I feel like that was so damn
so I used the way right
Yes.
to sort through all the leaders when you guys were coming.
Right. Because I was looking
I had to use the
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That was a great day. Well,
I'm just like,
for her.
Yeah, I feel like that was so.
has an idea of how the people.
I mean, I know
China cabinets, like full cups on the table.
I didn't want to say it, just like, maybe it's a process. Like,
No.
just like, right away that you might.
Right, exactly.
Actually,
It's
I remember Zava.
Oh, we are recording.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Everyone says so these are all different because they have right? We have
Yeah, so why do we so it's the Alpha Psi Omega, so these are all different schools, and they're Alpha Psi Omega.
It's the national, National Theater Fraternity. So like we're part of it. We were had members of the side, but it's not just Oswego. It's all the different universities that have a chapter.
I did see one. He's supposed to be president, and third grade point out, somebody's decided to wait until
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's great.
But it's
So this must be one of his earlier years. He said she gave 77.
to go to only
whether that inspired the person or whether that
You made the comment that we're. So Mark,
Thank you, it is.
So,
So everybody, black is like just the theater color.
That makes sense, all right. Because I would have wondered after the fact, just one. That's all right, it's just one of those.
This is one of those
Go by and
it's actually at a stage lecture. That was always my thing. Like, I'll wear black dresses too. If you're seeing me, something has gone very important. So I don't think it matters if I wear black. I'm not trying to blend in. I actually need to be seen, God forbid.
He had enough knowledge. So all the way home, you're gonna.
Yeah, when,
she lived with this whole process from the same
Some of them. I have.
It is a fun, but it's a compliment.
I remember when I was there, they helped stage the community pageant.
That sounds right.
Never mind. That was what.
Her oldest daughter
I had stage myself for.
looks a lot like her. She's not like her.
Right?
I remember going to one of those, and I was gonna ask how you remember.
The other one really looks like her dad.
I think it was.
I didn't know we were related.
He's great part. He wouldn't want to do that. I taught him history part of the year. Mark is a college.
Years ago.
I built a lot of the department. I was drama coach.
Well, I didn't know.
I looked at there.
Well, I'm already
And I
not
love,
the German.
you know, I was in
So I did cabaret.
I'm so seriously.
Dire band friends. So a lot of people, you know, a lot of faculty. I don't know if you, well, you wouldn't know just she was a theater historian for years. She's like.
Yeah.
So what was this?
To be a house member.
I could be. Well, I liked the lead when I was here when I
was the faculty there for research for research all they liked women, they told me because they liked programs we did, you know, the international programs. You know,
but I think it's very close. I lost my Nobody called me. I only knew maybe less than half the girls. So I didn't continue on with it, so it was easy.
Actually, my husband.
That's really what the.
I tried.
I love it.
I love going to the pool. Come down to the pool.
And as the
So they'll be like that. They won't even know. Like, here she is. Exactly. He was a fun dude, I don't say. It does, driving by yours, it's not the same. Even after you weren't there, it still wasn't the same. So I am happy to not see him pushing that lawnmower back to the ditch though. My heart feels a little better that he wasn't doing
yeah, I kind of walked away.
Yeah, so that's why you can't just for all the people who passed away. It was going to be on March 20th.
Yeah.
So I thought, well,
sign.
It's all right. Hello. So we have 10 minutes. I think we should start getting people out for a toast.
Why don't we give them a warning, like 5 minutes? More like the playground. 5 minute warning.
5 minutes to the toast of Mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to the toast.
So November 20th.
I called my daughter and I said, look, I'm going to go. I called Mark and Mark said he was going to be there. So the three of us were there. And at that service, Mark said,
So where are we?
That was I remember walking and giving your message and it was.
so then, in March, so I'm down at the border. His mother's side, he had a cousin. And she was very they never had a family. They were and Bob and I would visit her at church. Twice a month.
Get out of town.
Get out.
Did you see that?
And I didn't. So I called her husband. Well, he had my number. So he wasn't getting it. No. So I lost
I can't remember here last year, but 1 year I told me. So now I have 2 years.
Yeah, I have that. But I will tell you one time, kind of nice. So I was in this beautiful oh, I'm telling you. So anyways, I got a phone call from his friend. Thank you. And I just seriously just
So I finally gave in and got the key. Yes, it's a wonderful sign. Isn't that wonderful?